After watching the documentary, I found it interesting how in the beginning of the documentary it talks about how most people think human trafficking occurs in foreign countries and not on US soil. But the sad fact is that a large amount of trafficking actually occurs within our borders, and that this topic is one that generally isn't talked about too much in major media outlets. After watching the documentary, I think that the biggest misunderstanding is the fact that slavery still exists. I feel like the word slavery frightens people due to the past, but human trafficking is still slavery. There are people out there right now that are selling human beings and children and forcing them against their will to work for them to gain a profit. I think the documentary offers viewers a unique perspective into the world of sex trafficking and the umbrella that sex trafficking is under. In the documentary, one of the officers mentioned that these traffickers not only sell people, but are also involved in other criminal acts, including selling drugs and gang activity. And lastly, it's really interesting that this documentary in particular was made a few years ago, so the tactics have become more advanced, and there's more social media platforms and more ways in which traffickers can get people to enter sex trafficking. There are new tactics and ways in which the task forces who are combating sex trafficking have to adapt their techniques to seek out traffickers and help the young women being exploited for profit. So I think the advancement of technology and especially different media outlets, it makes it more difficult to find these traffickers and arrest them. But overall, I really enjoyed the documentary and thought it was very eye-opening into the fact that sex trafficking is a real issue, and it's a very big issue that for many people who have been exploited by this business, it makes it very difficult for them to have to address it and have to see their pimps or whatever that in court. So I bet that's very traumatic for them.